I see that.
We are live. And let me go post. Come on, catch up with me now. Got this, homie. All right. Post, and tweet. All right.
I think we've got it going on. What's going on, folks? Hi, Nicole. Hi, Trent.
Hey.
We could pretend like we haven't just been talking for the last 10 minutes if you want.
I know. Oh my God, I haven't seen you guys in so long. How are you?
It's been like a week.
It's been an interminable amount of time.
It's been like a whole week, guys. Oh my God. It's amazing.
It's been like forever since we've talked.
This is so... I can't...
Since I've given up following that Twitter conversation, it's literally like we haven't talked.
I know. Amazing. All right. So currently waiting on our last or the other folk to come in, if you will. I've got another guest named Rico coming into the show here shortly, and we'll just give it a couple minutes to let people come and decide to watch or not watch the show. It's completely up to you.
Or heckle us. They both work.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, heckling.
They should come watch anyway because you're just so pretty, Daniel.
Well, I'm not your dad, so you do what you want. You say I'm pretty?
Yeah.
Thanks.
With your ginger beard.
I know. I think the ginger beard would look better on you though. So.
I don't know. I never pictured myself as the facial hair type.
I mean, I think you could pull it off. It looked great. It would really round out your chin. All right.
I think we've just completely thrown Trent off. That look on your face was magical.
I usually hold it. Yeah. Well,
at any rate, I will read his intro here in just a moment once we get started. And I suppose we'll go ahead and jump on in, and he'll jump in when he's ready to go. All right. So welcome back to the third weekly Wednesday Wisdom live show with Unframe of Mind and friends. Yay. All right. So on this week, we've brought back a couple previous guests. We've got Miss Nicole from the YouTube channel The Breakup.
Hello.
Say something. Say something.
I said words and everything. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Very good. And we've also got Mr. Trent Gander from The Irreverent Gentleman.
Always a pleasure. Always. Nah, I'm going to give up on that.
Yes, this is why I do your intros, not you.
I do better intros on my own show.
I believe you. So we'll just copy and paste some of your intro onto my show, and then there you go. We'll have it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Either one of you want to tell the vast audience here what you guys do on your channels respectively before we officially get started?
I am the smart one from the channel The Breakup. Chris is the pretty one. And together we generally just talk crap about all the insanity that's going on in the world. There is so much going on that just needs to be mocked. And we do this.
Fantastic. Trent?
I run the Irreverent Gentleman Facebook page and the Gentleman's University of Manly's WordPress blog, where I deal with manipulation, basic business concepts, and general human concepts and constitutionality.
All right. Let me tell him to come in when ready, and he will come in when ready, I suppose. And then I'll just introduce him at that point. So, just to give a quick rundown of the general topics we're going to cover today. We're actually looking at talking about the Austin, Texas bombings, the Uber autonomous vehicle death, the hashtag delete Facebook issue that's going on right now, and also as part of the weekly show, I want to make sure we talk about awesome blockchain innovations. I think that's something very important that I think a lot of people need to know about. I
actually have something on the blockchain thing related.
All right, fantastic. Well, when we get to that particular section, I will certainly let you throw your 2 cents in there. I'm always looking for anything besides the use of crypto or cryptocurrency, rather. I'm always looking for like other things that people are using the blockchain for. The blockchain technology is far more wide-reaching than just the use of money. So that'll be pretty exciting. We'll just keep that segment going. At any rate, so I'm going to try something a little different this week, and I'm trying to kind of give the show a little more structure so people know kind of what to expect when they're watching the show. So I know a lot of shows like to do what's called a lightning round, and typically they tend to put them at the end of the show, but I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and start the show with the lightning round just to kind of get everybody warmed up and having a good time, and we'll see what, get to know each other, because I know a lot of times when I bring on guests, they may or may not know each other. So kind of gives everybody, a good starting point. So I suppose we'll just jump right into it. Y'all ready for this? It's 5 questions that, were partly made up, partly researched, All right.
How does this work? Does one go and then the other, or do we just kind of clamber all over each other to try to answer?
However, I know last week we kind of did the taking our turns thing. That felt really weird and awkward. So if you fella need to talk, or if you guys all want to talk over each other, then I'll be like, okay, then I'll call out a certain name, and I'll be the decider of who gets to speak first. It's so much power. So much power.
It's all in your hands.
Put that away.
We made him nervous.
Like the last thing I had that much power in my hand. Never mind. All right, so we'll just start with a nice, easy one. Question number 1. What would you say is the greatest album of all time?
That is so
I like
hard.
too much music. I like too much music to answer that question. Jim Croce's greatest hits.
Oh, shoot!
That's a really...
Are people able to join the broadcast after it's already begun? I think we already talked about that.
Yeah. All they have to do
done
is click the Hangout link.
That's right, because Chris did it last time, didn't he?
Right.
Okay. So I sent him the link. He said he was having trouble with it. So.
Ooh, greatest album of all time.
Yeah.
God.
I know it's a tough one, right?
It's a very hard one.
I gave a lot of thought to this, and I'm sitting here thinking, if I'm on a desert island, what's my one go-to album that I always tend to go to? And even though this isn't my favorite band of all time, probably my favorite album would have to be Pink Floyd's The Wall album, hands down.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Beethoven's Last Night.
I have not heard that one, but I do like some Trans-Siberian.
Trans-Siberian.
It's so good.
Talk very good tonight.
Maybe I'll change mine to Running Wild title, Libertalia.
You had to pick a really hard question first, didn't you?
I know. That was the easy one.
Fantastic.
All right.
I'm just kidding. All right, so question number 2. Let's go with what is a pet peeve of yours?
Noisy chewing.
Idiocy.
I'll take both. I'll take both. All right. Let me see here. Third question. Worst date you've ever been on?
I've never been on one.
You've never been on a date?
Yes.
That's very manly of you to admit.
Back in, I think it was late middle school, I got taken over to somebody's parents' house to watch them play Dungeons and Dragons. And that will go down in history as the worst date in history.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Did you get to participate in the Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I literally just sat on a sofa and watched them play. This guy spent 3 weeks begging me to go on a date with him, and that was the result.
Okay, you at least could have been a gentleman and let you play with them, because that would have been quite interesting.
Wow. I can only imagine you sitting there twiddling your thumbs and like, what am I doing here? What has my life become?
I know, right? I was so bored.
That's amazing. All right, let's move on to question number 4. Most consecutive days wearing the same underwear.
I'm going to go with probably about 2 weeks.
Whoa! I was going to say 3 days, and I thought that was kind of gross. With 2 weeks. You've got dedication, sir.
You do.
I have laziness on my side.
Camping trip, and I lost all of my clothes the first night, and I had to wear the same clothes for 4 days.
Oh, geez. That's no good. Okay. Click that one, dude. I'm trying to stall just enough so he can get in here. I am terrible at trying to text and talk at the same time. That's just not going to happen. I appreciate y'all who are watching for your patience while we get this thing rolling here.
I'm jealous of the size of that mug of coffee.
Yeah, that's
coffee. Really impressive.
That is an actual antique German, West German Stein.
That looks like a flower pot.
It basically is, and it's, I don't know, it just makes the coffee just very delicious. There he is. We found him.
Welcome back, Rico.
Oh my God.
There he is. Okay, so hey. I've been trying to stall around to get you here, so just so we can get this thing officially rolling, I want to read you your intro. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but hey, just so you know, something's funky with the internet. If it goes back out, I'll see you when I see you.
All right, man. Just join us in the chat then, if that's the case. All right, so I'm going to introduce the third guest today, and this is my friend Rico. He's been a former guest on the show. He's a drummer, a skater, and he's the author of the soon-to-be New York Times bestseller, Micro Penis: How Kama Sutra Saved My Marriage.
I was not wrong when I said
it. Oh my God, I was kidding, dude. That's not what I really wanted you to say.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, but
that's the best.
Except my book title was way better than yours.
No. I'm glad you churched it up.
All right. So I'd like to welcome Rico now to the show.
Thank you.
As I was telling them, and I'll go ahead and give you a chance to catch up real quick because you've only missed a couple, but I'm doing a quick lightning round at the beginning and getting a few questions going. Let me ask you, what do you think is the greatest album of all time?
Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He's thought about this before.
Okay. Well, no, actually, there's a thing going around on Facebook where everyone's listing their top 10 records, all-time records, and they're doing one a day, and they're nominating other people to do it. So I'm actually like in the middle of that. Today's record was Stankonia by Outkast. Nope, that's yesterday. Today was Failure, Fantastic Planet. Sorry.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move this along. What is one of your pet peeves? I hope my pee filter is working over here. I felt like I just dropped a couple plosives.
Pet peeves?
Yes.
I have a bunch of words I can't handle. I can't handle like round words like bulbous or boob or jumbo. There's a lot of words I can't handle.
We have to say these words a lot during this stream.
Yeah. It's actually a requirement.
Like as often as possible, we need to say boob.
I can't stand when people end sentences with prepositions.
And usually the word boob is directed at me because I am the boob. All right. Third question. Worst date ever?
My wife's in the room. It's not her. It's not her.
Good answer. Good answer. Not the wife. All right. Most consecutive days wearing underwear?
The same underwear.
The same underwear. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Most consecutive days wearing the same underwear.
God, man. You don't even want to know.
I said
probably a week. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Probably a week. Probably a week.
All right. Y'all some nasty motherfuckers. That's all I'm saying right now.
It wasn't my fault, okay?
I get it. See, I would prefer to just take them off and not wear anything if I had the choice.
I didn't have the choice.
That's gross.
What was your answer?
I went camping on the first day. The backpack with all my clothes in it got stolen by I don't even know who. So for the rest of the 4 days, I was stuck in the same t-shirt, shorts, and underwear and could not change my clothes.
That's hot.
I had to live in those clothes.
I bet that made for a hot makeout session with the camp counselor.
I was 10.
Hey.
Even hotter.
Even hotter.
No, just kidding.
All right. So the last question before we wrap up the lightning round, this one's going to be interesting. If you had to make out with someone of the same sex to save the world from aliens, who would you pick?
Brandon Boyd from Incubus. I don't know.
Wow. You're good. This lightning round thing is your forte, sir.
Exterminatus.
What was your answer?
Didn't get to it.
Yeah, this is a brand new question. Nobody's answered this one yet.
Oh no! Oh, am I being that guy? I thought you'd already asked him. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, anybody.
Anybody, as long as she's hot.
As long as she's hot, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with. Do I have to answer the questions too? I don't know how this works.
You're in charge.
Do whatever I want. So I'm gonna have to go with Robert Downey Jr. He's pretty fucking hot, and he's a smartass, which there's that. And we're talking about a makeout session. It's not like Anyway, so let's move on.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna move into the main topics of the show, which we've already touched on the intro topics to those that are watching. So we'll go ahead and just jump right in. I did want to talk about real quick the Tommy Robinson speech that happened last week. That we actually did a live show on it, and it has been by infinitely far the most successful video I've had so far, with damn near 14,000 views on this thing. So apparently, I've been in the right place at the right time and touched a nerve. However, I'm not trying to brag about it. What I'm trying to do is bring attention to the fact that we do actually have a nerve that is there that needs to be addressed. And that is, if you guys aren't aware of what was going on over there, you can always go back and watch it. But basically, free speech is under attack. And especially in countries in Europe and the UK, they're trying to block a lot of this stuff because they don't want to offend the Muslim population, because that would be just terrible. So as a result, they're shutting down a lot of other people's free speech, because they don't want to cause a riot or cause chaos in the streets or whatever the case may be. If you have not had a chance to see it, I would recommend doing a YouTube search for Tommy Robinson speech on Speaker's Corner in the UK. It's a very powerful speech by today's standards, although I would argue a decade ago it would have been a pretty meh speech, because it wasn't necessary, but now it is. I don't know if you guys had happened to seen it at all.
I'm looking it up. I'm sorry, I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
No, it's all good. But you don't have to look it up now. But what I guess my concern is that if things don't make a turnaround and a change, that we're already starting to see a little bit of that shit going on here right now in the United States, with YouTube channels being shut down, Twitter accounts being blocked and shadow banned. All this silly shit with Facebook going on, and they're actually trying to change their algorithms, which puts a lot of your left-wing news stories up and suppresses your right-wing news stories and marks them as fake news. It's terrible.
Every time there's been socio-political dissidents, we have had book burnings, and this is essentially the book burning. This is the suppression of ideas because they're wrong think. This is our modern book burning. And whether I like her or not, this is entirely true. We are having a problem with free speech being categorized as hate speech and wrong think, and the suppression of ideas is never, has never, and will never be right.
Have you guys heard about what Google is trying to do? They announced that they want, for when someone searches something from now on, they want one right answer as opposed to several answers, which, that begs the question, who decides the right answer?
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty scary. I mean, and I've heard of all kinds of people. I don't know if they're calling it ghosting or whatever, but on YouTube, they're actually making people think they're getting hits when they're not actually being seen at all. Have you guys heard about this yet? Like, they're shutting down YouTube people with an algorithm left and right. Anybody left of right wing, like even 1 degree left, is getting shut down right now.
Yeah, and anybody one step to the right of Karl Marx is being shut down or silenced in some
right.
No, I haven't heard of that particular one, but I've been up to speed on a lot of different other variations of the same type of thing. They're trying to be sneaky about it in some cases, and they're being more upfront about it in others. And it's very bothersome to see that. Okay, well, if there's such a thing as wrong think or hate speech, it's like, wait a minute, we're just we're reliving the book 1984 all over again, where we're calling things by different names just to try to push an agenda, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I agree with you. Which is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's not a lot that we can do defensively outside of stick very close to the terms of service and the user agreement. if they hit us, we can appeal. And if we have stayed, you know, within those barriers, then they have to remove the mark. But it's going to be a hard road.
Well, they're being so gnarly that they're actually taking a lot of channels I like. People are going backwards and deleting videos like from years ago, and YouTube is still finding them even though they're gone and they're 4 years old, and getting them strikes for those. Like, they're really being gnarly. That's Daniel. That's why I asked if you had anything. You're like, well, my channel's not big enough, but it's not about number of subscribers. It's an algorithm. It's what I've heard. That's just finding anything, you know, combinations of any kind of, you know, conservative or, you know, right-wing stuff. They're just shutting it down.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're doing. I mean, obviously, as it is an algorithm, there's really no, and it's a secret proprietary algorithm. There's really no way of telling. And
Right.
as a result, I mean, I am taking precautionary measures right now, and I'm going to other places and making duplicate copies of my content in other places. So that's kind of like my backup plan, is because if they shut me down here, every single video I upload here automatically gets downloaded over to, or uploaded over at BitChute. So, and I've already got a few subscribers over there. So it's not, it'll hurt me obviously because YouTube has such a huge freaking audience and of people already here watching it. It'll just take me longer to get up there. But like Tommy Robinson was saying, is, you know, he delivered that speech at Speaker's Corner because the guy that was originally supposed to deliver it, Martin Sellner, I believe it was his name. He was actually turned around at the border and told that he wasn't allowed to come in at all. He was banned from the country. So, and what he said is, you can stop the speaker, but you can't stop the speech. And that's all that's going to happen, is we're going to just move from this platform onto another one, and we'll just start there. Later in the show, we'll have some suggestions for places people can go, because that's one of the main topics we're going to be hitting on when it comes to the delete Facebook issue that's going on. But
Yeah.
Before we get there, let me head into the Austin, Texas bombing situation here. Okay. Nope, I didn't take notes for that one. It's okay. At any rate, how many of you are familiar?
Sorry, man.
How many of you are familiar with the Texas bombing issue right now?
I am.
I'm up to speed.
All right, so I just did a little bit more research today, and you know, because I know they announced the who it was today while I was at work. So 23-year-old Mark Anthony Condit was the gentleman, for lack of a better term, who went around committing all these things. Now, you did hit on something there, Rico, when you dramatically coughed false flag.
I didn't know. It was just
oh, sorry. I must be hearing.
Yeah, you're paranoid.
I must be picking up some bad reception in my headphones.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so that's possible. I don't know. It seems like every single one of these events that keeps coming up seems to have something that happens that is like, wait, this isn't adding up at all. That being said, I was just curious. I had posted a tweet, and the name of the show even is if only bombs were illegal, you know, then maybe this would have stopped. You know, maybe we would have not had these bombings go on if bombs were illegal, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, because, you know, making something illegal is going to stop someone from doing exactly that illegal thing that they don't care is illegal.
Right. It's like when the government said we're going to stop drugs, you know.
Prohibition works great.
It's working. I mean, like I can't even find any drugs around here at all. It's really hard.
I'm not even on any right now.
Right. It's so it's working.
I'm
working. When they banned liquor, I mean, you know, that only just caused, you know, mobs to come in and start running the damn thing.
And people started dying too, because people were drinking, like, I don't know exactly what, but obscure stuff. I mean, look at it. During prohibition, people were going blind and stuff. They were trying to drink whatever they could.
So Bob McCabe in the chat says only assault bombs are illegal. I think we do need to pass a law. Kudos, sir.
Well done.
Fantastic. And assault bombs, to clarify for those on the right, you need to make sure we define it as the bombs that look more militaristic. That's
just like put
militant.
some like tape and write on it, this is an assault bomb, so we can tell the difference.
Well, what you do is you put duct tape around it, and then you age it to look all post-apocalyptic.
Dystopian.
Yeah,
I want to see a
dystopian.
steampunk bomb.
Steampunk bomb. It's all done in like copper and gold trim and stuff. It's very elegant, very Victorian.
Hey, Daniel, have you looked up the Hegelian dialect? You know what that is?
No, I think I did once, but I forgot.
Well, the Hegelian dialect is basically problem, reaction, solution. So if they have something they need to pull off, they want to scare people, like blow up a school, something that's really going to touch people, like, oh my God, I got kids, that hurts. And then the reaction is the public's like emotional reaction. Oh, this is terrible. And the solution is, well, let's take away, bombs, and they pull off anything. It's a false flag thing, but problem, reaction, solution. And just about all these events, Sandy Hook, I mean, you name it, there's always something they needed to, push forward. 9/11 was all about homeland security. And, I think all these shootings are about, gun control and whatnot. But I think just about everything that happens, and they switch it up too. Like sometimes a lot of people die, and it's really sad. So if you go out there going, this was bullshit, and people are like, oh, you're insensitive. So that emotional thing, the second of the three, problem, reaction, solution, the second of the thing makes people hate you for even trying to say it wasn't real. So,
well,
I mean,
a lot of the problem is that when you've got these situations, the big debate is between whether or not it is the state that is initiating these events and then taking advantage of it, or if these events are happening and they're just taking advantage of it by controlling the media narrative in that case, which I think it might honestly be a mixture of the two.
Sure. I'm sure they're opportunists.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the one to say that every single one of these major events we've seen has been a false flag or some kind of grand conspiracy. That would be
not at all. No, I agree.
Even if it were true, it would sound fucking retarded. So I mean, nobody's gonna buy it, even if I had 100% proof that all of them are
right. I know.
So
you have copycats and whatnot. Yeah.
You're still dealing with the Overton window in this case of what is acceptable, what's publicly acceptable to talk about. At any rate, my friend who works for a security agency, I can't say who or where or who it was, but he sent me a message. He said he basically brought up the idea that basically when they created the Second Amendment, when they wrote the Second Amendment, a lot of the argument you hear is, well, they didn't know about the AR-15 when they wrote it, so it was clearly, he said if we apply the same logic, well, in that case, they also didn't know about the internet when they wrote the First Amendment. And it's interesting when he said that, it inspired me to bring up a couple topics we've already talked about. It all kind of fits real well, but it was a good point, because the reason I'm worried about it is if we accept that, and that seems to be the accepted argument, at least on the left, is, well, they didn't know about assault rifles, even though AR-15 does not mean assault rifle, then they could also take that same argument and apply it to free speech. Well, the founding fathers didn't know about the internet or what it would imply, and then Twitter, they didn't know. So we've obviously got to make laws to, limit that free speech, because it's dangerous. Hate speech is dangerous. It incites violence and divisiveness, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I say something about the Second Amendment?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Criminals don't go through legal channels to purchase weapons anyway. So you're only taking the weapons away from the good guys. Period.
Right.
I mean, how many times has someone on The Sopranos ever went to a Walmart and like registered for a gun to knock someone out?
Wait, did you not catch that episode? That was in season 3, episode 4, about halfway through.
God, I forgot about that one.
It was right after the Gillette men's razor commercial.
You're right. I bow out.
I never watched that show, so I'm.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Daddy's got you. It's okay. Yeah. I'll let you borrow it.
That would involve watching TV. I just don't do a lot of that. I got world problems to solve. You know what I mean?
Right.
At any rate. So I was just, the big question I wanted to ask about the bombing situation as it pertains to the Second Amendment rights issue, and the way I kind of presented it so far is this: should bombs be illegal? Should private citizens be allowed to carry around grenades if they want to? Should they be allowed to carry around whatever fucking contraption you want to make, explosive, whatever the case may be? I was just curious what you. I can share my opinions all I want, but I was just curious what you guys thought about that.
I mean, I don't think so, but just like the porn thing you brought up, I hate it. I wish it didn't exist. I think it's terrible. I think it makes it's breaking down relationships and making men, jerks, but you have the right to watch it. So I'm not, I don't want it to be illegal. So same thing. I'm not a bomb fan, but if you want to blow yourself up, who the fuck am I to say not to?
What do you think, Trent?
I am for having a very wide variety of firearms and other equipment available to the civilian population, because the primary reason behind the Second Amendment is to have pretty much a standing army of civilians ready to repulse any invading force should the standing army not be available to return to the population. We have to remember that at the time, such things as letters of marque were being issued for civilian piracy against the Crown and other places. They would be having fully armed warships. The Battle of New Orleans is another example of privately owned cannon being used against British regiments. There's also such things as the puckle gun, which were designed for multiple shots being fired from warships at such things as small pirate skiffs, including specialized rounds to be used against Mohammedan fighters to increase the pain of the wounds. So our ancestors are a lot harder core than we give them credit for, and they certainly were not shy with stacking bodies in order to ensure their freedoms and their rights.
Right on.
I think also another reason why the Second Amendment is there, if I'm not mistaken, is also in case government becomes tyrannical. I mean, so you can knock that shit out too.
Did you just say in case the government becomes tyrannical? I think it's tyrannical by nature.
I think you just triggered him.
You meant what I knew. You meant what I knew. I mean, you knew what I meant.
So what about,
started something.
What about you, Nicole? Before we forget what your thoughts are on this, what do you think?
Everything is a tool. It's humans who are the problem, and banning anything does not discourage anything. We have to hold humans accountable and not things.
It goes also to the First Amendment argument of the primary reason against censorship is that the first line of censorship is self-censorship. So it applies similarly to the Second Amendment.
Hold on a second, Trent. We're picking up some interference from something.
I guarantee it's me.
I'm hearing background noise. Did you change something?
It sounds like a TV. Oh, it's them talking in the background with the baby.
Oh, hey, guys. Hey, is there anybody mellow out a little bit? Sorry, they can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
It's the cutest baby ever. Hey, anybody watching? I've got a 3-week-old, so it's insane.
It's all good. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear what he was saying. No problem.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, well, I have headphones on. I actually can't hear them because I have these.
Yeah, that's one of the things of a live show is sometimes you got to expect a little interruption.
If I might for just 1 second, I'm going to address Bob McCabe. I believe everyone here would agree with you, Bob. None of us want only the government to have guns. Because
that's funny because everybody says they want gun control, and meaning there's no such thing as gun control. There's only
gun control. We have registration. We have background checks.
Yeah,
that is control.
Yeah, the only type of gun control we have is you would take the guns from the law-abiding citizens and give them to the government or the police force, and they would be the only one. I did want, before this comment gets missed, I did want to point out Michael Felsky says the musket used to fight the government or a person back in the day were considered assault rifles because they were used to assault someone. That makes sense. Otherwise, they're just rifles, and to Nicole's point, they're just tools is all they are. And then he also added, what about missiles? Should only governments have them? And see, I'm one of those weirdos that says, as far as the Second Amendment's concerned, if you want, you can own whatever. I feel like you can, if you want to own a bazooka and make movies with it or whatever,
as long as you know how to safely use it and you're not going to blow up your neighbor. Hey,
right. The legal problem comes up when you actually use it to kill somebody. That's the law that gets broken.
But then it becomes an issue of a human, not of an object.
Exactly. So Trent, you had one more thing you were trying to say earlier. Is it still pertinent, or did you want to move on?
Yes. going along the lines of it being a problem of a human killing another human, is that one of the primary things that goes for the First Amendment to be censored is that people forget that the primary method of censorship is self-censorship. So I decide what I say, and I decide how I use my arms. The same in both things. It's human decision to perform a specific action.
Absolutely. But we have agreed, I believe, that not being a jerk and shooting your neighbor is a good thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
probably don't want to do that. I tend to frown upon my neighbor shooting my kids with their guns, and I want to see them punished for that.
But they're more than welcome to own them.
Exactly. If you own them, I could give a shit. You know, if I walk in your living room and you've got a full-size military World War II tank sitting in the middle of your living room on display with beautiful lights, and the gun is hanging out the top of your roof where you can hop up there to your heart's content and point it at whatever you want to point it at, as long as you won't pull the trigger and kill somebody, by all means, have fun, buddy. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Because you're not breaking any laws. You're not hurting anybody. There's no victim.
Exactly. If there's no victim, there's no crime.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, Daniel, look at your Facebook Messenger real quick.
Okay, yeah, way to add to the conversation there.
I know.
Sorry. I'm just kidding.
I just gotta say, it's quite amusing that you use the example of a World War II thing, because I saw a World War II armored car, civilian-owned, parked outside of a high school recently, underneath an awning, like it was their car. It was awesome.
Nice. Where'd you see that?
By a place that I live at. I'm not gonna hand it out because.
Oh, no worries. No worries. No, I got you.
Sweet little armored car, just beautiful. I couldn't get a picture of it though, too far away.
Well, so moving on to the next subject here. Speaking of death dealing and who's at fault and that kind of good shit. I wanted to briefly touch on the Uber autonomous vehicle death that had happened recently. Before I throw it to you guys, just read a couple things here. It's obviously the first human killed by an autonomous vehicle. That's interesting in and of itself. Way to make history, lady. Anyway, that was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to hell for that one. For sure.
For that, there's nothing else.
Yeah, that would be the only thing in my life that would qualify for. Anyway, so there was Tampa Police Chief Sylvia Moore told the Chronicle, saying, I suspect preliminarily it appears that Uber would not likely be at fault in this accident. I won't rule out the potential to file charges against the backup driver in the Uber vehicle, though. And here's the problem, though. Where did I see that now? Okay, so the problem with that is Arizona's newly updated rules governing the testing of autonomous vehicles on public roads stipulates that a company is liable if one of its self-driving cars negligently kills a person. Now, I guess in this case, they would have to prove negligence. And one other thing I wanted to read, the crash occurred near Mill Avenue and Curry Road late on Sunday in Tempe, Arizona. The Uber vehicle was headed northbound when a woman identified as 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg was struck while pushing a bicycle across the street. Herzberg was taken to the hospital where she later died from her injuries. So I don't know how much you guys are aware of that aside from what I've just read. But I was very interested in your thoughts on the bigger implications of this. And do you think this is a big deal? I mean, I know somebody died, and I totally feel for the families, and I sympathize with that.
It is a big deal because autonomous driving is becoming more and more a distinct possibility, particularly for cabs and stuff like that. Now, as far as the legal matters go, Uber kind of abdicated themselves of fault when they put the backup driver in the car. It wasn't just the car driving itself. There was someone there who could take over and prevent this from happening. So is it the fault of the company who took the precaution of putting the driver there, or the driver who did not take over the car?
So the from what I understand, having read a few articles, what they were saying was, at least what they know so far or think they know. I don't know. Just do your own research. You get the point. basically the pedestrian decided to walk out in front of them at a part of the street that was not a crosswalk section, and it kind of happened very quickly. The driver even said that she or he, I forget, it's a transvestite woman, man, I don't know which one, I forgot, doesn't matter, it's not the point. Anyway, they stepped out in front of the vehicle, and if it was autonomous or if it was a regular person driving a regular vehicle, it probably still would have caused an accident. I guess my concern is that the autonomous, no matter how perfect you make it, there's always going to be human caused errors to happen, and I think this was an example of one of them, to be honest.
Well, if it was an unavoidable accident, then honestly, no one's at fault. It's a no-fault issue. If somebody jumps out in front of my car while I'm driving, obviously they're going to get hit. I can't stop in 2 seconds.
Exactly. What do you think, Rico? Do you think this was a big deal, or do you think this is kind of being blown out of proportion, or what do you think?
Man, I honestly, I've got no opinion on the issue. I'm so sorry about.
No, it's all good. Moving on to Trent. What do you think?
I think that it's most likely just going to be put down as another unavoidable accident, like Nicole said, because no matter how fast a processor can react faster than a human can, it cannot stop a 40 mile per hour 2-ton vehicle from stopping in less than 100 to 200 feet.
Exactly.
It still has the limitations of a car.
Yeah, and you know, physics.
Well, both are fallible, you know.
It may be able to react more quickly, but can the car react that quickly? It's a lot of weight going.
Right. And from what I understand,
that's a solid point.
From what I understand, it was an actual crosswalk 100 feet up the road that, you know, would have made the car more aware. You know, you can't program unpredictability in it. It doesn't quite work that way. Bob McCabe says, sounded like the girl darted out in front of the car. I mean, a human would have had trouble stopping that situation. I feel like that's kind of what's going on here.
I totally agree, Bob.
That's a solid point, Bob.
And Michael says, how do they know the car was on auto drive? The human may have been driving, hitting her, and blaming the robot. Now, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was on auto drive.
I do believe there is a log that they can access, like a black box system that would say at the time of impact whether it was on auto or manual.
Right, and plus there's also 2 camera angles that they were able the police officers were able to view to see what exactly happened. I think it's tragic. Yes, somebody died. I personally am really excited about seeing autonomous vehicles on the road and possibly even owning one myself at some point, because of just the amount of time it would save me. Like, it's ridiculous how much work I could get done in the car while I'm sitting there going to work. But as far as taking out the element of human error, I really feel like it's going to be a lot safer. And yes, some people will still end up getting killed. Some accidents still will happen. But
there is going to be a process of mastery before that becomes infallible too.
Yeah, it'll be a learning curve, just like anything else. I mean, vehicles didn't come. They had these safety features added into them, you know, as we progressed, for a reason, because accidents happened. We learned from our mistakes and we fixed them or came up with solutions. So anyway, that's pretty much all I had on that particular subject. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Moving on.
All right, moving on. All right, so I want to find my notes because I'm actually pretty well organized compared to last week. So I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I'm still trying to figure this thing out and printing shit off all Alex Jones style. It's great.
It does help to have paper notes that you can go, what am I supposed to be talking about?
Yeah, because last week I'm sitting here trying to look at my screen and my mouse and my keyboard are like 2 feet away from me, and it's like, hold on. It's very frustrating. Anyway, we'll get better at this, I promise.
I literally have a couple of screens going on, and I wish that I had enough time to be able to print off the notes that you sent me.
Hey, can I get off topic for a second?
What you got?
Yeah. Hey, do you draw all that stuff behind you?
No, not all of it.
Oh, okay. Either way, I'm moving on.
All right.
Next song.
And we will have a few minutes after the show to discuss things like that.
Oh, that's how that works. Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
It's all good. It's a live show. We expect, bumps in the road. No worries.
Yeah, like people with brand new babies.
Yeah, like new babies, like that little bastard of yours needs to shut his damn mouth.
And then that other guy with the shitty internet connection. Oh, can I say shitty?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
you're
already
fine.
said all sorts of weird things that we dare not repeat.
Right. If anybody is listening and they're offended by curse words, earmuffs.
No,
Balls.
you're good.
Right.
I'm almost positive that they're swearing on Daniel's channel.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be uncomfortable conversations without a condom if we had a condom that said no curse words.
That's right.
Yeah.
That'd just be ironic.
It would be
That would
nothing.
I need to
dry
have
docking
that,
without a comment.
dude. I've got it. That's my new marketing and promotion effort. I'm gonna get Unframe of Mine branded condoms that say no cursing on the side of them.
I'll buy a box.
I want 5%.
You want 5%?
It'll be Unframe of Mine. Dry docking.
Hey, according to your dating life, you'll only need 5%.
Is that at me?
Ooh.
I don't know.
No, I'm just making fun of Trent.
You can't shame a shameless cat.
And by all means, I can take it just as much as I can dish it out. So feel free to take a swing at me. I got it in.
Hold on. Hey, family, earmuffs. Dude, I'll give you a handy.
Really?
Dude, come on, man. I got you. All right, you got.
I appreciate that.
Literally.
That's what friends are for. All right.
Yeah, come on, man.
So
I'm pretty sure my daughter just heard that.
Move on to the next topic here. One of the segments I want to do on all of my weekly live shows is talk about some of the new advancements in cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology that doesn't necessarily have to do with the use of monetary purposes or currency or anything like that. There's actually a lot of really cool shit that people are doing right now. And in this particular segment, what I want to talk about is a company called Polyswarm that's actually handling cybersecurity and making a decentralized version of cybersecurity. And I know the idea, the topic itself is like mind-numbingly boring, but what these guys are doing, I think, is actually pretty freaking cool, because what they're doing is they're taking and making it so that the model's a little different from what like you had before with like the McAfee and all those antivirus programs, where you would purchase the antivirus program, you'd install it on your computer, and as new possible problems came about, they would, they had a small team of coders that would create the solutions, and then in the next update of the software, they would then put it out. Well, the problem with that is now we're moving at such a fast pace in this world with hackers creating, or programmers creating, all these different malware problems and all these different issues. And you have to excuse me if my vocabulary in this particular industry is a little off, but I'm trying to just get the general idea out there. What they're doing is they're using blockchain technology to create a more of an economy around a system that would actually pay developers to create solutions for problems on the blockchain, and then they could just incorporate them as they go. And then users of that potential solution, they would actually just have automatic updates whenever they came out. They would just be part of the ecosystem, and it would just be more of a free-flowing cyclical nature to it. It's pretty. If you're interested at all, please, by all means, check it out. It's called Polyswarm. I don't know if you guys wanted to add anything to that, or if you found that interesting, like even in the
it's actually kind of brilliant, because there's no way for a company alone to keep up with the amount of data that's just thrown out there, and so much of that is intentionally harmful. It's easier for home programmers to write a cure and then submit that to the masses, then wait for someone to notice it, write it up, wait for the update, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one example of many that, we're going to see complete changes in the way things are done. Mike says Mike in the comment section, he says it sounds more like open source software. And I think it kind of is, except for it kind of is, except for it's done using blockchain technology for
the blockchain is to keep it live. So while it's kind of like open source, it's happening in real time. So
so basically what the point is to have like if I'm a programmer and I create a fix for a problem that's coming out, I could submit my software to the blockchain, and then on that blockchain, it's the ledger says, yeah, this is the guy that did it, so he'll be the one to get credit for that thing, and he'll be the one to get paid whatever according to our algorithm or however. I don't know how they set it up in the back end, but basically it's a way to incentivize people to do the work versus open source where they're just doing it kind of out of the kindness of their heart, or they're doing it, you know,
or frustration, more accurately.
Right.
Yeah, basically. I think it's pretty fascinating. So, I mean, if that's something you want to check out, you can find that. It's called Polyswarm. One other one I want to mention, which is not out yet, but I did hear about the other day. Speaking of John McAfee, I heard him on a podcast interview the other day. He's no longer associated with the McAfee antivirus software anymore, as far as I understand. But this dude, very fascinating to listen to. If you ever have a chance to watch some of his videos, this dude he has no fucks to give. Like it's so funny to listen to him. At any rate, he's mentioning something. His idea is to create a McAfee coin as a way to, another currency exchange type of platform. I don't know how it's going to work, but I do like the solution he's trying to present. I don't know if he'll be the one to do it or if somebody else will, but the reason your blockchain, the reason your cryptos are going down in value here lately, and I think they only just recently started to go back up, is because of a lot of uncertainty in federal regulation. And companies, or all these little companies and the whole economy is like sitting here waiting, going, I don't know, do we go ahead and just stop for now, or I don't know what they're going to do. So there's so much uncertainty. It's like this Damocles sword sitting over everybody, just like like waiting. Anyway, his solution was to take and create part of the problem is, let me get my thoughts together here. Part of the problem is governments are targeting the actual exchanges instead of targeting the blockchains themselves. They're targeting the exchanges where people are going on and purchasing the crypto, and they're exchanging one for another and stuff like that. And they're trying to call them securities, and they're trying to call them. It's like the FCC's looking at it, and there's like 3 or 4 different government branches that are all looking at it, and each one of them has their own special tool and lens at which to look at these things through. So what his solution is to create a solution that decentralizes even the exchange, to where the exchange is actually in each individual person's browser, and everybody is a part of the exchange instead of one company being part of that exchange. I hope I was able to explain that clear enough. That seemed like
no, I'm following. No,
okay.
I get it.
Well, hell, if Rico's following, I know we're doing good.
I just posted a link to the Polyswarm on Twitter, and if you want to grab that link later, Daniel, to attach it to the description.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind just throwing it in the comment section, at least. For
I tried to, and it wouldn't let me do it because it's a web address.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Hey, actually, Daniel, you know what? The reason why I'm not adding anything to this, because it's so tinfoil hat. Can I throw you a link? Just throw it up there, and then I just can't do it. It's a rabbit hole you're not even going to hear. But
all right,
I'm gonna send you a link, homie.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm sending it now.
I'm a little scared. I'm not gonna lie.
No, actually, I mean, I've been studying this stuff for 4 months straight, but I don't even know where to start here. It would take too long. Just throw that link out there, and you can figure out whether or not you want to have me back or not. I just sent it.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I'm telling you, man, I've been really researching this stuff. You know what? I'll give you this. Blockchain is a way for Skynet to build itself. Is using an allegory. I mean, blockchain is getting power by everyone investing in blockchain.
It seems like you have this.
He's been watching too much Terminator.
It's like I have this dam of like I'm damming up and this information, this block.
Dude, you know what, man? I just don't even know how to start. But just what? There's the link.
I try to keep the show to about an hour long, so that'll be probably a separate topic. We'll try to do another time, perhaps.
Actually, I'm not even willing to do that because if you're not following this, it would just sound insane. But there's the link. Do what you want.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Last topic.
By the way, I'm behind Bitcoin. It's blockchain that I'm that's suspect to me.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to move on to the last topic, so we can make sure we have time to cover it. The last topic had to do with this hashtag delete Facebook campaign that's going on right now. Yeah. You guys heard about that?
No, barely
going on. All right, so Facebook's apparently in a lot of trouble because of the way they've been using or handling their user data, and in conjunction with a company called Cambridge Analytica. Just to give you a few bullet points so you can get up to speed. So alongside social media giant Facebook, Cambridge Analytica is at the center of an ongoing dispute over the alleged harvesting and use of personal data. Both companies deny any wrongdoing. Yeah, of course. So let's see.
It's called data mining.
On Monday, filmed senior executives at Cambridge Analytica, including its CEO and Alexander Nix, suggesting the firm could use sex workers, bribes, and misinformation in order to try to help political candidates win votes around the world.
How is that any different than the history of all politics?
Right, blackmail.
Except now, Facebook's gotten tied up in this, and now they're directly implicated because of some actual, I would say, some pretty good investigative journalism. Which
Michael Felsk has also pointed out there is a civil lawsuit now about this.
I did not know that.
And Facebook just recently asked people to send them their nude photos so they could avoid revenge porn. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, this is real.
No, for real.
I'm not laughing because I don't think it's real. I'm laughing because I think it's real.
Yeah.
No, I swear. No, that's not like. Listen, I know. I look like Alex Jones right now because of the whole blockchain thing. But they're really. That's a. You know what? Go ahead.
No, I think they announced that over Facebook.
I will save you. Send nudes. That's everything going through my head right
I'll tell you what. Why don't you guys send your nudes to unframeofmind.com? I will also.
I know exactly what you do with the nudes. So no.
I know what I do with his.
Remember all that power I had in my hand earlier?
Fine now.
So this just today, a few hours ago before our show, Mark Zuckerberg says we have a responsibility to protect your data, and if we can't, then we don't deserve to serve you. So he basically made a public statement about it and gave a whole bunch of reasons up to but excluding any kind of an apology for this.
The term you're looking for is lip service.
Yeah, lip service. Mm.
That's what I'm looking for. A term.
Yeah. Michael Felsky also pointed out that there is a civil lawsuit on this. Shareholders sue Zuckerberg and Facebook over Cambridge Analytica leaks. Judging by the capitalized first letter of every word, I'm assuming that's a headline. So if you guys want to find that, just search for that and you'll find it. Bob McCabe asks, why is your right arm so much bigger than your left arm? Ha, you think you got me there, buddy. You think you got me. Here's the problem.
Well
I'm
done.
left-handed.
Wow. He's ambidextrous.
Nothing?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're in the South. Ambidextrous.
Dude, I had like the best comeback.
You do have some pretty impressive veins going on there. So,
so awesome.
Yeah.
Like Popeye. Anyway,
oh my God. I'm so over this joke.
Yeah. So, bringing it back to the what's it called? The hashtag delete Facebook campaign that's going on right now. There's a lot of people moving out en masse away from Facebook, and I think a lot of people have already been starting to do this because of what we were talking about earlier about them, censoring people and shutting people down and funking with the search results and things and your feeds. So. What I wanted to do was suggest a few places that people could go that are dedicated to maintaining the idea of free speech and open dialogue. There are also places that are decentralized. They're still a little buggy, I'm not going to lie, but I do believe there is a definite need for this kind of thing because these major social media companies are taking control of so much of our information and data, and then it's a free service, except it's not. The reason it's not free is because they're actually collecting our data and selling it to companies like Cambridge Analytica. I mean, there's nothing for free. Everybody knows that, but somehow we've talked ourselves into thinking that Twitter and Facebook and stuff is free, but it's not.
It's all about data mining.
Yeah, I would recommend the couple places that I'm personally looking at. An alternative to YouTube would be either BitChute, BITCHUTE, or there's also another one that's built on the Steemit blockchain called DTube. That's actually coming along pretty well.
It actually is.
It's coming along pretty well. Last time I used it, they did not yet have the related searches or the related videos section yet, and that's the one thing I love about YouTube. And they finally got it, so I may start using that more often.
Nice. I've already got an account there, so
cool.
Well, all the people that are getting shut down right now, and all the ghosting of their hits and whatnot, all their videos start with, "Hey, I might be gone tomorrow," So that's why I got on there. So yeah, I second that. For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm already on there, and I think Nicole, I think you mentioned possibly looking into it.
Cool.
I am. I'm looking at DTube for the breakup. Chris and I will probably discuss that on our next live stream, which will be probably this week.
Okay. Yeah. And one thing I like about it is you can actually make money from it, from other people viewing it. People can buy into the ecosystem and then tip the creators, so they can pay, put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. I actually just posted a video yesterday that was one of my older ones, and I am now 0.002 cents richer. So there's that.
Real wealth.
No, it's awesome. Okay, so as far as
as opposed to $0.
Yeah, as far as a replacement for Twitter, I would recommend checking out a couple ones. Well, one of them I use a lot is called Minds.com, M-I-N-D-S.
Yeah, Minds is great.
Yes, I like Minds, and I also like Gab, Gab.ai, Gab.ai.
Are you guys saying Minds?
M-I-N-D-S, Minds.
Oh, God. I don't relate.
and Minds has an app in the Google Play Store, and Gab has an app in the Apple Store. And I think if you want the Google one, you have to unlock your phone for it, but you can get the app for it. I just found out the other day. Shoot, if you guys know any other ones that people might check out.
MeWe was trying to compete with Facebook a couple years ago. I don't know. It was very buggy and compartmentalized, but it still probably is up. I still have an account over there. I need to check it out again.
I'm going to bring up a comment here. I do agree with Michael Felsk that looking at DTube and actually seeing how much everybody is making isn't something that I find attractive to the site. I think that should be available to the creators, but not to the general public.
That's interesting. I honestly hadn't put that much thought into it.
Oh, wow. No, under every video, it shows what they're making. Yeah, that's actually, you don't walk up to someone at Taco Bell and go, "Hey, loser, you know what?
How much money are you making?"
Right.
Exactly.
That's terrible.
Somebody on the street doesn't get to walk up to me and ask me what my salary is.
Are you kidding me? That's exactly what I do at Taco Bell every time I go there.
By the way,
that's not cool.
If you work at Taco Bell, it doesn't matter. You're still eating some good tacos. So
I enjoy Taco Bell.
That is your opinion.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're running a few minutes over my normal time, which is fine. I'm going to try to keep this about the 1 hour mark. I think that's a decent amount of time for a live show. Plus, I have to get up for work in the morning because I'm,
Where do you work to get up that early?
Yeah, right. Shut the hell up.
Hey, I'll walk in. I gotta get up early too.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so basically, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button, and that way it'll and hit the little notification bar or little bell thingy.
Yes, there. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and come to my channel and do the same thing.
And yes, definitely come to Nicole's channel and check out Trent's channel as well.
I'll ask later. Never mind.
Also, one last thing I wanted to mention is I'm trying to do one of these every week. So I will always be looking for up to three other people to fill spots every week. So if you would like to be on one of these Wednesday live shows, you don't have to be prepared at all. This is just like sitting down, having a conversation over coffee or a beer. I don't expect, I don't.
Wait, there's beer?
I have a lot of beer now.
I don't expect anybody to be like overly prepared for a huge presentation or anything like that.
Remember that one guy that was drinking wine through a straw?
Yeah.
He was whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So, that being said, if you'll head over to my website, I've actually just recently rebuilt it, and there's a big old huge button on the page that says to call into the show. I have a way you can actually call a voicemail service and leave me a message for the show, or you can also fill out the dialogue box underneath that if you want to actually be on the show for one of these Wednesday live events. And I will be sure to get back to you and fit you in. So that's all I've got tonight. I hope we have unframed your mind at least somewhat tonight. You know, brought up some interesting ideas, some interesting viewpoints, and tune in next week and we'll be here. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
Sorry, I was so unprofessional.
Oh no, it's okay.